These are the top 5 ultra budget gaming headsets. If at any point during the video you want to check out any of the 5 headsets in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But let's jump into the number 5 spot. And these are the Astro A10s, coming in at a price tag of only $28.95. You do get quite a bit for your money here. Also, make sure to stick around to the end of the video for a back-to-back mic test comparison, but let's talk about the Astro A10's build quality. This is much better than you would expect from the price. It has a metal band, but externally it's mainly plastic. Although, even though it is plastic, it is more of an expensive or higher grade molding. So this actually does not look budget, which you would not expect from that price tag. It also doesn't feel cheaply put together at all. As for the controls, there is a volume wheel on the cable itself, and then there is no dedicated mute button, but if you tilt the mic all the way upright, then it mutes the mic, and then down makes it unmuted. Now for connectivity, this uses a 3.5mm audio cable, and it is only wired, but it's a detachable cable, which is really, really great because if your cable, well, breaks at some point, you can just plug a new one right back in. But let's talk the sound quality. This is one of the most important aspects. I will say all of the 5 headsets on this list have great sound quality for the price. That's why they're on the list. I'm not going to include any that aren't good. So do understand that the points where I'm talking about differences in sound quality are relating to each other. Okay, so how's the sound quality? Well, there is lots of bass. It's a little overpowering actually with how much bass there is. So it does kind of muddy the sound overall. The trebles are actually nice, but the mids are really where that bass kind of overpowers the sound here. But this is tuned for gaming. So listening to music, the bass will be quite heavy. However, for gaming, this makes, well, FPS games like Battlefield, especially when, explosions go off next to you, the rumble is very, very nice. So this is definitely tuned for gaming. This is probably not the best overall headset for sound quality. If you wanted to listen to music, watch YouTube videos, and then also play games on, there are better ones on the list for sound quality. But if you're only a gamer, the sound quality is, well, quite good. But again, tuned much more for gaming directly. Now, as for comfort, this is kind of a mixed bag depending on who you are. Now, these have really high quality earmuffs. They are a fabric and they honestly feel like my, $170, $180 Corsair HS80 earmuffs. They are fabric, they feel really nice on your head. These really do feel like ultra premium earmuffs. They're not quite as plushy as I would like, but this headset overall is not super comfortable on me because it sits on my ears. However, I do have a fairly large head and pretty large ears, honestly, but my girlfriend has a smaller head and smaller ears, and she really liked the comfort of this one. So this is probably really comfortable for a smaller head or a younger person, or maybe someone with just a smaller head and ears combination. Now, as for the mic quality is very good. It's actually the second best on the list, so it's quite good. It's just slightly more muffled than the number 1 spot, which is in the number 1 spot. But don't take my word for it, take a listen to the mic test. I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the Astro A10s. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. And that is how it sounds, but before we move on to the number 4 spot, let's talk compatibility. It's compatible with PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. You're covered on all fronts. But with that, let's move on to the number 4 spot, which is the Logitech G435 LIGHTSPEED. This comes in at $29.99 at the time of filming. It is on sale, but it has consistently been at that price, so I'm going to assume that is the consistent price. Let's talk build quality. Build quality feels premium and has nice colorways. There is a black with a green cable. There is this all like pink and blue and crazy one, which is very cool. And then a white one with blue earmuffs and pads. That's the one that I have. Now the headset is extremely, and I mean extraordinarily light. It weighs like 5 ounces or 6 ounces. Literally insanely light. And this makes it really, really comfortable for long usage. This is a really impressive point here. And through the testing process, I actually really enjoyed using the Logitech because of this. All right, now for the controls. On the left side, there is a power button, a volume up, volume down, and a mic mute button. So that's pretty much everything you need. That's great. As for connectivity, this is a wireless headset, and this is the only wireless headset on the list. This uses either a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle or Bluetooth, so you can actually just play music on your phone if you wanted to go on a road trip or something like that. That's actually really cool. Now, the dongle's range is unbelievably good. It is better than any of my Corsair headsets, which is typically what I typically run. I think my daily driver is the Corsair Virtuoso XT, which is a very expensive headset. I think it's like $260, and that's a great headset. This one though has better range, which is insane. I went downstairs in my house, going through multiple walls, and about 50 feet away, and the dongle didn't lose range. That's crazy. I mean, that's really, really good. So I don't know why you'd ever be doing that with your dongle, but if you wanted to listen to music and walk throughout your house, you probably definitely can. As far as battery life, this lasts longer than a lot of premium wireless gaming headsets in the industry. So I don't think battery life is gonna be an issue at all, especially for the price it charges via USB Type-C. But now the sound quality. Firstly, you do have to keep in mind that because this is wireless, it is going to have a disadvantage just across the board because, well, it's wireless. However, even because of this had really good bass and mids. The trebles are a little bit muddy. However, it was very impressive, especially considering that it was wireless. I honestly was not expecting these to sound that good. I was honestly expecting when I bought these to not even include them on the list. I was hoping that they were gonna be good, but I was really expecting them to be bad and to put a different headset on this list, but these turned out to be really, really good. All right, but how's the comfort? Comfort's actually fantastic here, being the second most comfortable headset on the list. Now the earmuffs are a little scratchy, but the headset doesn't press too hard against your head. They are fabric earmuffs, and the lightness mixed with it not pressing too hard against your head, but also still staying firmly on your head, it was just really, really well done. And then it's super light, so it barely feels like anything's on your head. These are really easy to wear for hours at a time. It's also super smooth to adjust for different head sizes. It's kind of a different method that Logitech uses on these headphones. It's really, really cool. All right, but you're thinking that's a lot of good. Why is it in the number 4 spot? And well, this has an Achilles heel, which is the mic. The mic is absolute trash. Now, you will be able to hear yourself, or your friends will be able to hear you on Discord, and they probably will be able to understand you, but it does not sound good. The mic is very, very sensitive, so your voice will come through quite loud, but it sounds like a laptop mic. Also, the reason it's so bad is because there is no arm for that mic. So it just uses 2 mics back here. It's not that good, and well, don't take my word for it. Take a listen to the mic test. I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the Logitech G435 LIGHTSPEED. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. And that is how it sounds. So yeah. But as for compatibility, this is compatible with PC, PlayStation, but not Xbox. There you go. Moving on to the number 3 spot, this is the HyperX Cloud Stinger Core, coming in at a price tag of $32.99 at the time of filming, with a typical price tag of $39.99. Let's talk build quality. While it does feel durable, and it probably will stand a lot of abuse, this is the worst build quality on the list. It just feels very, very cheap. Now it has metal bands, and again, like I said, this does feel like it would last a long time, even with not someone taking care of it necessarily. But it doesn't feel premium at all. The plastics feel kind of cheap. There's no real cool design elements to it. It just looks like a typical headset. As for controls, there is a volume wheel and a mic mute on and off button on the cable. Now as for connectivity, this is wired with a non-detachable cable. Now, the interesting thing here is that this is more old school looking, and it actually has wires coming from both earmuffs. That is one thing that I really don't like, because it just looks a little strange. It definitely looks like it's from the early 2000s because it's got both wires coming down like that. But you might be thinking, why is it in the number 3 spot then? That's a little weird. Well, the sound quality is literally the best on the list. So they cheaped out there. The headset is not expensive at all, and they just give you really, really, really good sound quality for the price. The bass is nicely tuned. It's not as overdone as others on the list, but it's also not underdone. The mids and trebles are very, very clear. I mean, they just did a great job. Extremely impressive for the price. If you value sound quality over everything else, this is a great headset for a very low price. All right, but now let's talk comfort. These are definitely not the most comfortable in the world, but they're also not uncomfortable. For long periods of time, like I'm thinking an hour and a half plus, that's when you start getting a little bit uncomfortable. However, they're just not the softest earmuffs in the world, so it does feel like it's pressing a little bit tighter against your head. Not terrible at all, but like 3-hour gaming sessions, you are gonna wanna take a break and take them off in most cases, unless you have a very, very small head. The earmuffs are a little bit scratchy, like the material they use, and they're not super, super plush. However, again, we're gonna talk about some great things is the mic. It's really, really good. It's basically tied with the Astro A10s, which is also very, very close to the #1 spot. All three of these, the Astro A10, the HyperX, and then what's in the #1 spot, they all have great mics, and it was super hard for me to judge between them. So they're all very, very close, but take a listen for yourself. HyperX Cloudstinger Core mic, take a listen. I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the HyperX Cloudstinger Core. Check, 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 1, 2, 3. And that is how it sounds. Very, very good, especially for that price and considering the audio quality. But what about the compatibility? It's compatible with PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. You're covered on all fronts. Let's move on to the #2 spot. And this is the Eksa E900 Pros, coming in at a price tag of $49.99. The build quality is really good here. Metal bands that connect to the earmuffs, faux leather headband. The feel and look is very premium. Also, when connected with a USB rather than the 3.5mm audio cable, this has red lighting on the left and right sides of the earmuff, which is very cool. As for controls, on the left earmuff, this has a volume wheel and a mic mute button. Now, talking connectivity, this has 2 different ways to connect it. Both are wired, but both are also detachable. So you can either connect this with a 3.5mm cable, or you can use a USB Type-C to a USB Type-A. So you can use USB, or you can use the 3.5mm cable, which is very cool, especially when connecting to like consoles. Much better system. But let's talk sound quality. First of all, this is the second best on the list. It's got great bass. Trebles are lacking a very, very, very small amount when compared to the HyperX, but it's overall very balanced and great for gaming. Really, really nice to game on. I think if you get this, sound quality is definitely not going to be an issue. But let's talk about one of the biggest pros with this headset, and that is comfort. By far, these are the most comfortable on the list, and they're actually the single most comfortable headset I have ever used through all of my review. The Corsair HS80s, which are in a much higher price point, came close. But these are the single most comfortable pair of gaming headset or any headphones I have literally ever used. They are unbelievably comfortable. This is due to the way they sit on your head. They don't press too hard, but it's also not too loose. But the earmuffs and the top band is the real reason they are insanely padded, insanely soft and plush. It just feels incredibly good. And that's the reason they are unbelievably comfortable. You could wear these for 10 hours straight and you would never have any fatigue of them being on your head. It's literally that good. I'm not overdoing this. It's honestly crazy. All right, let's talk about the mic though. It is definitely on the more muffled side, which is unfortunate, but if you have this closer to your mouth, which is pretty easy to do because when it bends and well, stays in place. We're not talking flop city here. And it's also detachable, which is cool. But take a listen for yourself. This is the mic test of the Eksa E900 Pros. I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the Eksa E900 Pros. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. And that is how they sound, but let's talk compatibility. This is compatible with PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. All fronts, there you go. But guys, the #1 spot, this is the Razer Kraken coming in at a price tag of $44.99 at the time of filming. The build quality is the best on the list by far. Tons of metal on the bands and the earmuffs with high quality faux leather and fabrics. The look, the fit and finish is by far the best on the list. This looks like a $150+ headset and also feels like that. It's very, very nice. For controls, this has a volume wheel and a mic mute on and off on the cable. As for connectivity, this has a fixed non-detachable cable, but it is braided and it is like super loose and it's just nice. So it's a higher quality cable, but it's still non-detachable. But let's talk sound quality. This is a very middle of the road sound quality. It's not too abrupt. It's not too in your face with crazy bass. The trebles are just a tad muddy, but it's right there in the middle. You could definitely use an EQ software or EQ on your PC to kind of adjust and fine tune it, which would probably be the best route. But these do sound good, but they're not gonna have as deep of bass as you're gonna get on the HyperX or the Eksa E900s, and especially not on the Astro A10s, but they kind of overdid it there. But so yeah, I think most people will really like this. but if you want deeper bass, either get an EQ software or go with the Eksa or the HyperX. Now comfort, these are nice and comfortable. The earmuffs are quite big. I wish they were slightly more plush, but that's being pretty nitpicky. They're also fabric, so they don't get sweaty if you do tend to sweat while gaming. But the build quality is amazing and they sit nice and comfortable on your head. There's nothing really to complain about at all. But let's talk the mic. This is the best on the list. The number one spot, you kind of expected it once you heard Razer. It's gonna have a great mic. It's super clear and is also really easy to adjust. And it also retracts into the headset, which is very cool, but I'll let you be the judge for yourself. This is the Razer Kraken mic test. Take a listen.
I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the Razer Kraken. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds as far as compatibility. You got PC, PlayStation, and PC. This headset across the board does everything well. Some of the ones on this list do other things better than this, but this one just checks all of the boxes and does everything well. Again, if you want to check out any of the 5 headsets in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. This was a very fun video to do. I really do enjoy testing headsets, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you found a headset, well, that works for you. If you want a great inexpensive headset overall that does everything well, Razer Kraken, that's why it's in the number 1 spot. If you want an extremely comfortable headset that has a pretty good mic and very good sound quality, the Eksa E900. If you want wireless, go with the Logitech. And if you want the absolute best sound quality and a very low price, well, then it's the HyperX Cloud Core Stinger, or is it Cloud Stinger Core?
I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the Astro A10s. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the Logitech G435 LIGHTSPEED. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the HyperX Cloud Stinger Core. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the Eksa E900 Pros. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. I'm Consumer Tech Review, and this is the mic test of the Razer Kraken. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
But this was Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.